So the final day here as we get into things, of course, for phase number 3, week 5. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kylaris, and to my left-hand side, I have Froz, I have Avenger, finger guns out, ready to go. We are here for the final 5 games of the week, and then after that, we'll be going away for a few days, and then it's the super week.
21 games.
Yes, that's a lot of games.
That's nearly 25%-ish.
Wow. Great statistical analysis here, hard-hitting
Again,
stuff.
numbers on the desk.
No, let's not even start this early on. Guys, yesterday we come off the back of a day where the Big 5 did basically dominate, apart from G2. But Team Liquid got themselves the double chicken dinner yesterday, kind of regaining some of that former glory that we were seeing before, after having what is, to be fair, a bit of a slump.
So, I mean, yeah, playing a lot of games, you will become a little bit more predictable. The teams will know what you're going to do on different circles and so on. But yesterday, we had some odd ending circles, and that meant that the teams had to adapt a lot. And with that, it means that most of the times, it will be the most experienced teams that is a little bit better on adapting. And we saw that from the Big 5 yesterday, winning all the games, basically.
Yeah, it definitely gave them the best canvas to say, where the kind of teams that are the caliber for PGC Avenger.
Yeah, for sure. And also, we heard a bit of explanations yesterday to what the reasons are to why Liquid has been struggling. They feel like they've been their rotations are being read very well by the other teams, and they're getting kind of prepared against them. So people are camping their spots, rotations, and being on their spots before them.
Let's take a look at the standings so far. FaZe up at the top here with 528 points. They are, in theory, just almost 1 week away from claiming a back-to-back Phase 2 to Phase 3 if they can continue that kind of form. However, TSM for most of the phase here in Phase 3 has been in that #1 spot, but they have been pushed down just slightly by FaZe in this phase.
It's been a little bit up and down from both FaZe and TSM, who's going to take the first place, who's going to be on second place. But I mean, overall, they've both been super consistent throughout all the weeks here, and they've been playing really, really good. It's nice to see because these are 2 of the teams that will be representing PEL for the PGC, and we want to see them in their top shape.
We focus a lot on the top, but I want to briefly focus on the bottom here for the moment. 13th through 16th, gentlemen, are these the teams going to relegation?
I believe so.
Yeah?
Seeing how they're playing the game right now and what kind of momentum they have with them, it's basically 0.
And it's also 42 points lead from Knights up to ENCE, and also after that, it's another 20 points between Knights and DESPERADO. So they have a big lead. And considering the net gain that they will, the average point that they will get per day, it's very unlikely that one of these teams are going to be able to have 100 plus points in a week.
It's not impossible though. They can still make it, but at the same time, this is the day. Today is the day they need to step it up, because coming into next week, you want to have a good mindset. You want to be prepared for it. If you're far way behind, you're 40 points behind, you're going to be more stressed out next week coming in here. And if you're more stressed out, it's a high risk that you're going to make mistakes. And that's something you don't want to have in your head.
And also, we've seen some tendencies already. For the 10 games we've had this week so far, it's actually our bottom 5 teams that are also on our bottom 5 performers for this week. So we're seeing it kind of back-to-back that these teams are consistently performing well under the average. Therefore, they're also where they are now. So I highly doubt they're going to be able to jump up.
Right, right. Of course, back to the top again. M47 is one of those teams that's done well for themselves. I do want to talk about some of the very top teams, though, Froz, here, because right now, well, we could just look at that for a little bit. I love TomiL. The top teams right now, pretty close in points, but even closer in kills, I believe.
Yeah, if we look at the top 3, for example, FaZe, TSM, Navi, it's only 6 kills difference, but point-wise, it's 28. Now, what it comes down to is, it's going to shape up a little bit more throughout the games, of course. We still have a lot of games to go. But at the same time, it might come down to a tiebreaker.
Yeah.
And we know that's going to go down to the amount of kills you're gathering throughout the phase here.
Absolutely, and that could influence potentially guaranteeing a spot at PGC or not guaranteeing yourself a spot at PGC. And actually, happenstance, just in PCL today, we have seen 4 Angry Men actually qualify for PGC, so congratulations to them, but it was via tiebreaker. So they actually won out on the tiebreaker there, which is something that's kind of impressive in itself, going up against Infantry, who was actually able to get the effectively 2nd place. So you've got to be thinking about those kills, Avenger, when you come into this. It could really go down to the wire.
It's obviously extremely important. Again, 65 to 70%-ish of our points from this system here comes from kills. So I like to see that, again, also overall, we've heard a bit of talk in the background. Don't focus only on the stats and everything, but again, kills matters. Kills matter. 65% of overall points.
We're almost ready.
Talking about this as well, we also had from SEA actually, Sky Gaming Duckluck qualifying together with Armor Gaming that won Phase 2 and Divine Esports that won Phase 1. Sky Gaming obviously won the Phase 3, which was roughly just 2 hours, 3 hours ago.
Fantastic stuff. So teams are qualifying across the globe for PGC as it stands right now. I'm always excited to have Armory Gaming there. That is going to be a good time. For now, though, we're heading to the desert. It is Miramar. Let's head over to Pansy and D-Man.
Thank you very much, guys. Yes, here we go. Final day here in the penultimate week. Playing path is friendly in the skies for most of the teams. No real worries to begin with. We'll see whether we have a day that follows yesterday. We had some pretty wild and wacky circles.
Bring me in. I want yesterday again. Give me what we saw. That was such a good day of PUBG. I think any fan who's watched PUBG since the start to now, we've got a little weary of the same ones.
But tried and tested circles are kind of like...
Bring me that craziness.
You know this is going to be like a dead center around Picardo.
Oh, you know it. It's going to just keep going as well. No hard shifts, real down the middle. No, I love seeing it when the teams are really pushed to their limits, not just as a collective of those predetermined plans. It's those adaptive calls, on-the-fly decision-making, those individual players standing up. You know, Fuzzface on Sanhok, his area control, FaZe on Miramar, when they were playing like that, they did it on Erangel too.
Liquid on Erangel as well.
Right, it's like so many of these teams having to play that unorthodox style, but being able to pull it together. That to me was just, that really brought me back and really ignited what I love about PUBG. We'll see if it continues. It could happen. Who knows? For now, I think teams will probably want to settle down a little bit, to be fair. For them, it's turbulent times, but for us viewers and fans,
like a deep
we love
west circle or something like that, or maybe the island.
Don't even say islands. They don't. It's not real.
No, it's the island is not possible because the playing path was like that, so it wouldn't reach far enough, and it is going to be a power.
No, it could be excitingly. I shall not.
It could pull. It could. Drayden's like, I'm already just going to cover off this compound, and the Knights are just going to get it across. We're going to see NIP going into the back of that compound again. Probably not going to get knocked by three members knocked by TSM this time, maybe. And I don't expect to see GamerLegion diving in like they did yesterday either with their suicidal pull-up.
Yeah, a little crazy there. For me, this feels like a phase circle. Whenever I see them get this sort of phase circle, they play it nicely.
It does work well. They just go to that compound north of Monte Nuevo, right? It's easy for them.
They don't have much competition. Yes, teams do come in on the western side from the north or south, but not many, clash with them. They have the time, they have the area control.
Here's a team that did well yesterday. CrowCrowd really stepping it up. We just saw the tables, and it's really showed. They've really stepped it up. Obviously played as Windstrike in Phase 2. Joined the CrowCrowd team after the CrowCrowd roster was unable to continue, and it did mean they inherited CrowCrowd's points, which was 6th place in Phase 2, and it was really put them in the driving seat to qualify for PGC now.
And with them turning up like they have been, it's only just continuing their success.
With Misa coming in is definitely improved that team. We've seen massive performances from Tiikzu over the last week. It really has gone well. Considering, if I think back, they really had a pretty underwhelming Phase 2 overall.
Yeah, it was one that you'd not remember that well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He wasn't completely, they weren't completely awful. They weren't dreary, but they weren't, turning heads. And you look at Tiikzu just for the last couple of days, and the man is just playing out of his mind.
TSM were kicking themselves not to do a little better. They had a win yesterday. They were happy with it, but they felt they could have just done a few more things. And they were on the cusp of a couple of victories, so can't blame them for that. They also got called out a couple of times, just with some pretty wild spreads, but Michael's blaze of glory yesterday.
But I'll take that from TSM, because I'm happy to see them continuously trying it.
Ooh.
Now, this could be a bit of a battle. We've got the 2 scouts from 2 very large name teams.
Well, Fuzzy's just looting, right? Yeah, he's just on his loot path.
Is he still looting out here at this point? I mean, it is Liquid. They rotate early, so
unless they're trying to take a wide spread covering Montenuevo, that's risky.
Yeah, you're probably right.
So Liquid, this is a standard compound for Liquid to pull up in. It gives them the opportunity to just go up the hill quite easily if it goes to power grid, which it most likely will. They can go up the hill and get into that ditch like they're pretty used to doing. So it's standard, tried and tested, as we said at the start.
We'll make sure we'll relay the information that the map stream needs to be popped up. Don't worry.
There's different ways of looking at circles. Like if it's a circle we know and we've seen a lot of times, it's good because teams are practiced at it and they will try different things, and they'll also, more importantly, set up traps for teams that they expect to do the same thing. So they'll try and set up little points, little choke points, try and catch teams off guard. Like NIP might try and trap TSM or something like that. We can see TSM choosing to go this big, wide south route instead, and it may cost them as they bump into DA. So an adjustment from TSM. Previously with these circles, they usually go around the north side of San Martin and then swing downwards in towards like the high cliff area or something. But they've made an adjustment this time, TSM, so it's interesting to see whether it works out for them.
Okay, and I know what you mean, because I actually was very much of that thought pattern before, where it's like, well, if the more consistent or more regular things get, the more refined things get. You get a higher caliber of play. But I still think I'm not here to cast CS.
No, exactly, yeah.
I love PUBG because it's PUBG. That element of unknown and
it's
having
survival.
to adapt and change and have the ability of those mid-game calls is such a big talent. That's such a big skill that not many can possess. And I think we saw the best of it yesterday. We saw the best teams rise to the top under the hardest circumstances, and that to me just proves that it can be both. But again, I'm just cynical, and I want to see the players suffer. That's mostly what I want.
Yeah, the adaptation is really key. 7. Well, they started water treatment. They didn't have too far to go south. G2, this is a team that has been floundering. They posted a really big result last week, which I think saved their week, in all honesty, their 27-point game.
Yeah.
If you were to compare, obviously they had the double roster change, for the right or the wrong reasons. We don't know what happens in teams, with Udyr and Kaint. Obviously, Udyr ending up in Reciprocity, Kaint going to a contenders team, I believe. At the end of the day, they're 100 points behind the 4 teams they were level with. Going into the final day, they could have won Phase 2. They made the changes, and I believe they were in, what, 4th, 5th in the Grand Slam, something like that. They were up there.
Oh, hold on. Has Miraku just got his what was
See
that?
Now,
So Dovnik just sat there as like, I am part of this vehicle.
that was one of those awkward moments where Miraku had, when they're pulling up, you're like, I'll go for the head of the driver. Oh no, I'm going to go for this guy. And then you kind of like caught in between, and you kind of hit the frame of the car instead.
That's just when you're praying no one was able to see you on stream. Oh, man.
Well, the first death of the day.
It's like a mounted MG on the
it.
back of the truck then. Just stood there and just, I don't know, man. That was real odd.
But yeah, going back to G2, I mean, they're 100 points behind FaZe, now beating Liquid. It's as simple as that.
I would say for me, the one player, as much as Chris is still like a god, that last season, he was untouchable. We do have a bit of a breach here. We can come back to this if Bjorn is forced into the action. I don't know if Bjorn's got backup. I think he's been definitely engaged upon now.
Yeah, his backup is the other side. Yeah. They went for a greedy
nice
split.
Angle though he's got there, and they're not going to keep pushing on this. What? Why are you pushing those stairs without Flash's utility? One by one they come, and so far one by one they've fallen.
He's even got. Oh, he was trying to get the first aid off. No. He got double pushed.
I mean, credit for DA for just sticking it. If you're going to do that, you have to just go up. You can't, cluster. I'd like to have seen some utility to clear that. If you already had a shot taken at you in the stairwell, he's got vision. Flash up, do something, detonate it.
I think he could have gone to that back and jumped out the window there. Bearing in mind, his team is in the background. So the crossover point was kind of covered. So he could have quite happily hopped out of that and gone to the other building. I guess he didn't really know where the fourth player was. Yeah, so he went for the numbers game, but it didn't work out for them. G2 just collecting another car there. So Yannis and NELLOZ, the two, I can't still call them new boys really. We're winning week 5 of PEL. So
was he on single fire when they were on the stairs, do you reckon? Because he just popped one shot. He was holding the angle. Bjorn, when he was sat there leaning the stairs, he just shot once. I wonder if he was on single fire by accident. That could have been different. He fell back and he probably switched.
Maybe it was just tapping instead of spraying.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. I'd love to watch that back, but
Oh, look. I wonder where this circle's going. Centered up. It could pull away from Power Grid at this rate, though, because it has gone quite as far south down to Picado, and Team Liquid are reading into this thinking the same, because they've left that compound that would give them cover to get into Power Grid, choosing to return to the home. They may found their well, DA are there basically.
Oh, look at this southern shuffle. You've got M47, Desperados, ENCE, all these guys just kind of looking around if they can maybe move in slightly more central. Liquid have gone kind of beaten them to the punch. FaZe looking real nice here.
So FaZe have just basically seen Liquid pull away from this compound, so we'll have that. We'll have a 2-2.
Yep.
That's a decent enough spread for us. So Liquid have kind of nudged on the hills. They've got the two sort of center points in this so far. Anyone that's on the outside are going to be playing outskirts right now. This is where I'd like to see teams that accept that fate and not just yeehaw it into the center somewhere, because generally it just doesn't work. And IP, they're going to go for the same compound.
This one.
They want to get that building, but 7 are there. That's where they wanted to go.
Yeah, it's a nice compound to have. It's just isolated enough off the power grid that you don't have to worry about it too much, but you still get all of that vision. Nice high ground, hard pull up on it. Already taken. So now they're in no man's land. I would not like to be them. You've got 7 on one side and such an open back. Na'Vi could be a threat from afar. CrowCrowd, maybe the Knights if they have that angle too. It's such an unsafe position, so they're probably very uncomfortable right now.
Razor Edge, the only other team not inside the white of the circle phase 2. Everybody had centered up, so with the circle centering as it did, most teams are pretty simply inside. A slight teleporting Miramar there, so don't worry about that. It's just blipping back and forward. Just as long as it doesn't knock StarLadder there.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. He'll be all right.
He's out of there.
Yeah, I'm wondering what NIP do now. This is where it'll be fun to see their decision making. Obviously, there is territory to be had. It's just, it's wishy-washy at best, you know what I mean? It's paper thin.
Have you seen a doozy today, by the way?
No.
It's got some beautiful bright yellow trainers on.
Really? Very Na'Vi-esque.
The Na'Vi colour, yeah.
Oh, damn, Na'Vi, let's go.
He's living the...
he's on brand.
Living the brand, that's what it's referred to as, yeah. On brand.
Damn. My brand is curious right now.
Lemons and... What is it?
Fruity.
Lemon? It's just lemons,
just a bit fruity. That's what I'll go for. Bitter and fruity. That's actually a pretty good summary.
That's a big spread from CrowCrowd. Okay, I mean, it's going to work out for them. So Tiikzu's gone way down south, sort of outside of Monte Nuevo, and he's just scouting the warehouse, the big warehouse setup. So they're going to kind of be even near FaZe. The other 2 members are way, way north of them. So they're really trying to make sure they have this split. Secure your car, son. Yeah, good guy Misa. Good guy Misa gets in and puts it on.
fins and putting handbrakes on. We've seen so many cars just rolling kind of back towards them. For now, I think everyone's somewhat safe. You might see a couple of knocks, but I don't think there'll be a necessity to crash. I actually don't mind CrowCrowd doing this just because they were so late coming in on the western side. They had good vision of when FaZe moved up. They've got the good picture. They're very good at taking information as it comes to them. So them being aware of that, they can adjust accordingly. I hope they don't get crashed. That's the one threat with 2-2s. If Razor Edge fancies it, they could potentially go in for one of them, but I don't think they're a high enough value target to take.
Well, Senya's safe in the hills at the moment. So where are we going to go? Are we going to go into Power Grid area? No, we're going to go Picado way. Interesting. Ooh. Okay. Now, who crashes Picado from here? Team Liquid are going to be looking at it and thinking, oh, dear. So DA have got a strong compound. That big area compound, they need to consolidate and probably get everybody within it because it is large enough that it could get crashed one side of it. And I think that's what DA looking to do. You can see Mitraleius is already in a car, so they're going to make sure they're all together. Reciprocity have gone Picado. They've already got to the edge side of Picado. They don't want to completely commit. They want to take the far buildings. FaZe are on the move. N47 on the move, looking to try and catch them off guard. That was an adventurous grenade at most, I would say. Just tossing it at a car as they go by. Razor Edge, they're trying to make the move. Lynx's already gone down. The ball of flames. They've crashed into GamerLegion.
Yeah, they're going to have to breach this now. GamerLegion are on top, so they have the advantage of peeking down towards them a little bit, but ubah is right there. The damage was already done, but he just sealed the deal.
And remember, they lost Bjorn earlier on to Digital Athletics, so there was only a couple of members remaining, and GamerLegion will get swept out. First team down. FaZe Clan take control of that compound. It is still only an edge compound. N47, watch that play out. They've gone north of it. Team Liquid also pull into the hills just to the east of FaZe.
Reciprocity have a really good shot at this. Their positioning is not bad. I'll come back to that in a sec once the action settles down. We'll talk about where that circle may go, because some of this is not accessible and it will not end up there. Just south of Power Grid, those hills, I do not see it ending on that at all. I'm pretty sure we haven't seen a single ending there. So if you look at it, the next circle will have to fit basically. It has ended in Picado, and it can end in there.
Yeah, and that's what Reciprocity are reading, yeah.
Exactly, and I like that from them. They were on the East, they played it really well. They've now got good information. The nades, though, from Razor Edge have been also quite good. Vascu felt that pressure, and now if they connect one more, that could be Page gone.
Well, Na'Vi and CrowCrowd are still looking to enter the circle just to the west of these two teams that are engaging right now. Na'Vi is kind of watching this play out. Vascu will go down. DESPERADO's doing similar further south of FaZe Clan and near ENCE. You can see SKUIJKE in the distance in that picture-in-picture. Keep your eyes on the hills. Na'Vi are looking to move. They're just on the outskirts of this fight that's bubbling over.
Yeah, this is going to be scary for ENCE and the Desperados. It's not a comfortable battle. ENCE are good for now. They can probably get past the Desperados, but then where do we go? You've got that horrible road in between them and getting into some sort of safety here. They might just play the very edge, but it's not sustainable. And I think they know that. They might have to go into all just, go frag out mode, try and get the kills, then just, plan any step ahead, because TSM have them locked, and that nade is so good, though.
Rustanmar.
Yeah, frag out mode might be working for them here. They do have vehicles.
TRYFFELI's going to drive straight over them. He's coming straight at them. He's going to drive straight up and just make sure he gets it. Okay, not going to go full aggression.
They might get yoinked here at this point.
I think the TSM are going to steal them.
Yeah, it's already miikaz
they've caught
going
miikaz
down
off,
to it.
and they've stole the kill on Calvin, and SIMSY will bleed out, so ENCE will get that one, but miikaz has been finished. CrowCrowd and NIP, that's on the hills by Power Grid. You can see Na'Vi have managed to make their way in, and this is what you were expecting. This is what you're talking about. Now, Reciprocity's position, look at it.
That is so well
played.
So
they were where G2 were. They made the rotate, they came around the edge of Picado, and they scouted further down and continued south, and as you say, this is Scoom or whoever in that team has basically said, it's going to pull away from these hills. This is going to be the next center.
And they've had the room to adjust while SamT is just littering the floor with nades. And TSM split is nothing to be sneered at either. They played that well. They've kept control of the south too. That northern side is going to be dire. You have to still have vehicles to get past this, and more nades from Razor Edge. N47 have been absolutely bombarded.
Yeah, they've not come out well in this one. Picado is where people are sending it to. DA go into the large apartment block. Pittsburgh Knights coming around the side, trying not to run over each other. FaZe Clan catching Na'Vi off guard. They got caught on the rotate there, Na'Vi did. Meanwhile, Page has managed to get a bit of revenge. That was the Razor Edge battle that was going on. Page has just done them.
Out of nowhere. Those nades were good. Minox got one, Cordamento got one. It was all looking right for Razor Edge, and then they just get pushed on. That power coming through. Bit of a heavyweight battle going down with FaZe and Na'Vi, but you can see that they're being picked apart here, and ENCE is chomping at the bit. Rustanmar needs to get their way in, and they are in a bad position. Na'Vi are not in a good position either. I don't see vehicles on them. This is frag out mode now. Get whatever you can and try and get out, but it's very unlikely.
Look at that, just try and shoot through the smoke. Sees one. Oh, TRYFFELI suddenly appears for him. Didn't see him. TRYFFELI will confirm. That nade's going to get tossed towards him. It's right on top of TRYFFELI. That is going to take him down. Aduzi doing the damage, continuing to stack it up. CrowCrowd in the hills fighting with 7 as they try and find a way out of there. Aduzi's just going to get on the bike and pan it for somewhere. Find himself anything in the next circle, but it's going to be a run to the death, I feel. FaZe are doing it just ahead of them. You can see they're bombing in. He may actually go straight in behind FaZe Clan here. He sees them pulling up. He's going to veer off to the right and see a ditch.
There is room in the east. It's not easy because you have players in between it, and yeah, he's pulled right up on Ira. Oh my God!
He tried.
Oh.
He tried to run him over.
Doozy. Even when he hopped out, I thought there might have been a second he could have got a shot in or something, but no. But the east, look how open the east is, and it's not opposed to ending there. It's just not good ground. It's an open hillside, but there's a couple of shacks. If you're in that position where you're just in a land grab, you have nothing else, just send it there and hope for the best. It doesn't necessarily pull to Picado.
And G2 have came down from the same spot the Reciprocity win, just came down on that eastern side and said, thanks, we'll just sit and watch this play out. This could work out well for them. CrowCrowd go down in the blue, out in the play zone. Edelweiss doing the job for Misa there. He's still out in the blue as well. N47 there pushing into Team Liquid is their next focus. They just took down Razor Edge, but this may be a trickier job because they're coming headlong into them. And you can see Team Liquid, they have the angles covered off. Teams covering that push. Ivor's going down in a ball of flames. The last man is Page. He may well have just massacred Razor Edge, but I don't think he's going to get much more.
No, and I like this from Liquid. They're being quite feisty about it. They're willing to take all these fights very open, but they're staying together as a unit somewhat. James is on his own, and maybe that's the weakness, but doesn't feel he has the timing here. 8 bullets left. He's got some suppressing fire from some other side maybe towards him. I'm not sure, but look at this. There's no safety. It's just like, well, I think it's accept fate at this point.
This is like the difference of a pro player, right? Anyone else would have reloaded there because it's like your reactions. I need to reload. Now he's got time to reload. Now he'll probably do it as he goes into the warehouse, or maybe he's just not realizing because he's under so much strain and pressure in the game. The circle centers up once again. It's, again, looking at Shiv's position. These guys have managed to work it well for them. Reciprocity. Team Liquid, they now need to move. Where will they go? FaZe's little ditch has worked out well for them.
I think if Liquid's been able to scout, they can send it. But for me, I don't mind a late play just taking over that hillside above FaZe. But you have to be able to clear out where TSM, or hope TSM move, and hope that maybe NIP move. We do see the consolidation of Reciprocity. The bike is out of there, and so is Scoom. He's gone down. It happens. They had to try and bring themselves back together. Maybe could have taken their time a little bit more to try and maybe make TSM uncomfortable. But they already had Iroh in, so they wouldn't have had to move too far. It's just how it goes.
Rory's under pressure. Rory's about to get pushed on the side. Team Liquid coming into the hillside near Iroh. Look in the hills, look in the background. You can see it happening in towards that warehouse. Gustav comes in support, quickly called. They can't look down this road. You can see Phaser there, and that's going to be one knock. They just knocked mxey there. So they realize they can't cross the road because they're open to FaZe Clan and TSM. This is a horrible spot for Liquid.
Yeah, they're looking for something here, but so far it's just eyes looking down on them. Now, luckily for TSM, they are fraggers. They can deal with pressure when it's applied to them, but so are FaZe. These are two teams that can just wipe each other out. The Knights are engaging towards G2. G2 are the ones out towards the east. Braexco was on his own in the hillside a little bit more, so the one who's further away from the squad. Liquid, I think, need to play this slow and see where TSM end up. And it's just not a good position. NIP is sending it their way as well. Gaxy's been lost. Bard survives, but it's not good, is it?
Duck, 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 hit the ground, hit the dirt.
Needs that little ditch there.
I don't know whether Gaxy can crawl close enough. No, not anymore, because he's just gone. Been finished off. Okay, smoke and a dream.
Liquid might have just played prone on this plateau for now until things calm down. I think TSM could see them, though. That's their issue. TSM's got slight high ground to be able to peek over and keep them kind of in danger here.
I think DA are shooting TSM, though. That's the problem. As soon as they peeked, DA were starting to catch them. DA shooting everything. Everything and everyone. They're in their compound. They're happy. They do have Snark in the next door building.
Yeah, that's TSM.
Sneak in. So Team Liquid is going to pull up on the hills. Yep. That's a big problem for FaZe Clan, but you can see TSM, you were talking about it, they have the angle on them on that ridge line, and the nades will be coming now from FaZe. Well, and the mollies, everything. Yeah,
it's not a fun position for Liquid. This is not an advantageous one for them. And they're going to try and keep TSM under suppressing fire to allow time maybe for the pickup to come through, which is not surely been done yet. I think it's just behind us on the camera, so that could still come in. And FaZe, you know they want to get in on this. They don't want that looming over them.
If Liquid had some nades, then FaZe was screwed.
Oh,
so I don't think they have anything.
Yeah. I think Liquid sadly ran out of options here. I don't blame them. They tried to head down south. They tried to play on the road. They weren't given much to play with. That's a simple fact of it.
They're going to be angry. It's a Picardo finish. They're going to be angry, let's face it. You know, it's always the way, right? So SIMSY gets finished off. N47 also go down. That's Page's valiant effort. Will be, sadly, 9th place, which means we get a big fat 0 in terms of placement points. TSM now need to move off that ridge line. They can come down. They know they've got one knock on Reciprocity, but that's going to stop things.
Yeah, this should be an uncomfortable push, but the Knights, if they're feeling it, going to have to get in on this one. The DA are quite split up. They're in isolated buildings, so maybe you can get some clean knocks. TSM sending it. That's Iroh finding room and space. That's really well played as an individual. It's one of those calls you make. You're like, I'm just going to do something stupid. If it works, it works. Ignore it. There's a knock. It should be time to start building into this, but Liquid are engaging towards FaZe, and Jempty just found 2. The angle, the high ground. It's Jempty all day long. Just wipes out FaZe.
The former FaZe man comes in and puts pate to them in the ditch. That is, well, how Jempty rolls sometimes. He's on a bike. You can see Gustav's on a bike. The Shack is inside, so Team Liquid have managed to find themselves. And with TSM leaving, James has now got a chance to get over there as well. TSM look like they've made it, but only just. Gustav and Michael down low. G2's Yannis trying to get out of there. DA, I think you should be focusing on the Knights myself, but he's keeping everybody at bay on that roof.
Just on a roof in, a PEL game. Just trying to turret around.
I mean, surely the Reciprocity look this way. They seem clear as day.
You know what?
Or even Vard, if he was looking this way.
I think Vard's got other worries right now. He's not in yet.
No.
He's in a spot of bother. I think he's the next to fall either. It doesn't know. Who knows who's going to pick him up. TSM do have numbers still. They have all 4 alive. but this hillside rundown is horrible if that circle moves away, which it's quite likely to do. Far does go. It'll be Liquid to get it. Now let's look at who remains. We have DA in the town, tall buildings, all that jazz. You have the Knights knocking on the door. Now, Liquid playing survival. They did so well to come out of that scenario to move FaZe out of there, but Reciprocity, to me, their rotations have still been king in this.
The car was slowly edging closer to Tubes there. Here we go, the Knights. What are you going to do? If it pulls any further south, they have to make this move, and it's a tricky move. I assume they got enough utils, but I don't really know. I don't think there's going to be too many nades left between each other because they've kind of thrown what they've had. TSM making the pass. They've still kept 4 alive. They managed to make it out. That's a really impressive push to get to this hills and keep 4 on their feet. But where will we go?
You've got to feel it's going to pull away from Picado, but it may stay. We've had Picado endings. It's not impossible. Yeah, it's not that bad.
DA's gambit has paid off. Yannis managed to get to the little shack as well. Reciprocity still inside. It's clearly TSM that have something to do. Team Liquid and, of course, the Knights need to get across the road. Now, TSM, yeah, I mean, look at that run. It's straight down, open, visible to DA. They go left, it's visible to Reciprocity. They've got to deal with one of them.
Honestly, send it towards G2. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
to Yannis.
They don't know that it's so lightly guarded. That is the threat of the unknown.
Ooh,
Hello, nade. That just came from...
There's
that was
more,
the
there's
top
more.
of the floor. Oh, no. They're bouncing through. Reels is alive. Snark's okay. If Reels can get the pickup, that's great, but this is...
He's going to get
really
drained
slowed them down now.
But I think Wanted... Run to it, run to
Oh,
it, run
no,
to it. No, he got shot. He got shot.
Straight away.
Yep. Okay, so they've lost one. Instant knock back on Drayden.
Now's the time for TSM. I think they're going to go
They're
G2
going.
side.
They're seeing the knocks, they're seeing the battle, and they're immediately playing this and thinking, DA are not looking our way, and they're not. Yannis is, though. He sees one. They pull up straight on his shack. Can he keep them at bay? NELLOZ trying to do what he can to try and catch him in the cross, but Gustav will take Yannis down, and they're in just about. They got one on their feet.
Yeah, it's not it. It is that last-ditch attempt. It was their best shot at doing this. There's nowhere else they could have gone, and it works out. G2 couldn't do anything either. You've got 2 isolated players. Nice crossfire on the pull-up.
Znark transferred buildings. So Mert, who's now going to basically crucify them, was where Znark was. So Znark moving position actually cost the Knights a bit more of a problem. I mean, I could see what he's doing. He was trying to get up on the building because that's where they were tossing the nades from, but didn't work out for them. Mert, good use from him to try and make the push.
So let's talk long game here, unless this scenario
Long
becomes
game,
more
we're
likely.
phase 7. How long do you want to go?
Okay, end game. DA's great until that circle moves away from those buildings, and then they are screwed.
Yeah.
That is it. There's no cover around there. There's a tree, I think, maybe?
You've just nailed DA's game plan in a nutshell for phase 3.
Like, Reciprocity is screwed as well. I mean, most of these teams are in a really bad spot once it moves away, but DA's, when you leave buildings like this, it's going to be so tricky to exit it cleanly. They might have a little bit more to play with, but TSM's quite central in this. And Reciprocity, if they have vehicles somewhere, that would be so good. That bike looks quite clean. And still a little bit of it in, but the bigger compounds are now out of it, so they're going to have to move from there. That means maybe Znark could get a punish on this, potentially. It's not much, though. So, again, DA now has to really prepare themselves.
Yeah, TSM's little move has worked out. Gustav's managed to get Iro back on his feet as well. Have Reciprocity got enough smokes? Well, NELLOZ is going to try and smoke his approach. DA are not looking at this, so it's really TSM. Well, they're both staring right at him.
I want to see what Znark can do here. NELLOZ can make the run out. DA aren't really looking his way, so he's not the one I'm worried about. That would be coming from somewhere else. Yeah, it was TSM. So TSM get that kill. Okay, so Reciprocity have a bike to send somewhere. Team Liquid have so few places to go, it's just prone time and hope for the best. DA need to be worried about themselves. I want to watch Znark's perspective here, because he's the one who could maybe do a backstab. Reciprocity want to just keep him, bang to rights, but DA have compounds to move to. They have a part of a building.
Where will they go with this? Nowhere. Monkey takes him down. Mert finishes, confirms it. GMT, I think he's just going to bleed out. Is he going to try and tank the health? They're trying to tank it as much as they can. Reciprocity still have the rest of that. A little bit. It's not going big.
That was a team kill.
That was a team kill in the back of the head.
And here comes the blue. That is going to make things really uncomfortable. The time's now. Reciprocity need to see this kill feed. They need to move. Same with TSM. You've got to think long term. And if there's anything available in that middle, I don't think there is. It's time to go for it now because DA are in recovery mode.
Yeah, DA, and they just got shot at by Reciprocity. Sixmo tries to keep them at arm's length as best he can. TSM kind of look a little play. Nice. Gustav's read it. He's gone across the road. He's using it, and he's going to try and get the nades onto Reciprocity. Is that got the legs? He's going to catch Udyr in the back. Doesn't do enough damage. Second one will bounce down. Udyr's backing away from it in the smoke. But he's got across, and he's got to the rock.
Try and look at central position. Okay, TSM are actually playing this nicely. I don't know what state they're in, though. They've taken a lot of fights here and a lot of fire. Reciprocity have all that utility still, so I feel like they're in a good enough spot. So, actually, they're not too bad. You've got a bit of stuff. Yeah, that's all right. DA are in trouble. Look at this. They're just prone down. Leaving these compounds will be the death of them. Gustav nade did find Udyr, so Gustav is close enough. He's well within nade range now. Monkey, though, and look at this. Reciprocity are still in a good enough spot if they can get Udyr back on his feet, if they have the chance.
Should be able to. Iroh's on nothing, but he's got a cross. He's managed to get in support. Gustav gets shivved down. That was going for the revive. Big play from TSM again, starting things off just as we saw yesterday with the big teams really delivering when it counts. Monkey trying to get around, and there's the backstab. Sixmo moves up, comes out of the fields. There's nades coming his way as well. That's going straight to Reciprocity. There could be a massive nade from Sixmo. Where did it go? Oh, Gustav managed to catch him. So Gustav will get the kills. That is 6 for Gustav and 5 for Iroh. Gustav going massive.
Oh my God.
Gets beautiful death down. Look into Sixmo and nails the headshot. 8 kills for Gustav, 15 for TSM. My God, did they play that well?
That was absolutely sick from TSM, playing that to perfection. DA had so much room to work with then. You had TSM and Reciprocity and all this fighting together. They were all so busy. That was the time for them to move, and they just completely lost it.
I mean, DA just got completely undone by a crucifixion in the back of the head when they were trying to take Snark down. Snark got the knock. Meant they were delayed in their movements to get that revive quickly. And Gustav read it so well to just instantly move across. Iroh tossed the nade, followed him straight over there, pressured Reciprocity. So well played by TSM. Let's see what they got to say with Sam.
I'm here with TSM. I'm only chatting to Iroh today. You are the only player I'm going to be speaking to because I get a hard time for not talking to you in chat. Which I felt is a bit unfair today because maybe we should talk to Gustav. But let's go through this. That final game, the two of you, what was the game plan at the end?
Well, we talked about pulling down towards east because there was no one there. And then the circle went north. And then we just pulled up on the shack, just got it off G2 and then killed them. And then just Gustav destroyed everyone. I talked to him for sure.
I'm going to keep talking to you. You'll have to win another chicken dinner. So tell me a little bit now about the fact that knowing that you were sitting in second spot, you're obviously now fighting for that top position. Does that mean that you guys are going to be a lot more aggressive?
I think we're going to play I think we're going to stick to our normal game plan because it works. It works so far. And then we can just clutch everything out if it's needed. So it's going good right now.
Who do you think is your biggest threat? Is it going to be FaZe Clan?
Yeah, it is FaZe Clan right now. They're doing super good. Navi's doing pretty well lately as well, so I think it's just between 3 of us right now.
So there you have it, Navi, TSM, FaZe Clan, the 3 to watch. Let's head back to the desk.
It's rare I do this, but holy bleeping thunderballs. That was Gustav popping off at the very end there for TSM. What was that?
That is Danish dynamite for you right there.
That was... Is that if that's how you describe it?
Let's roll back a little bit. I said TSM would win the game. You did. And you guys disagreed hard on that.
No, that is not true. He's lying right now.
He's lying.
I said if TSM crashed that shack, they'll win. But no one would expect Gustav to kill the last 5 players alive.
I did. I believe in him.
Yeah, you believe, yeah.
Yeah.
It's no Michael call.
You know what, Frost? Go out and take Gustav. We'll put him here, and he will break down the whole thing.
Wait a minute. Didn't I say Gustav yesterday for 1,000 damage?
Yeah, I said the man who was driving that vehicle off the cliff and just suicided.
Yeah,
that's my bet.
Oh, yeah, that's not good.
So in other words, the host did better than the analysis potentially if he gets 1,000 damage.
But potentially, we'll see. It was a great game overall. A lot of pull-ups, a lot of rotations. I really like this one from FaZe Clan, and again. Big nade as well from Rustanmar. But again, guys, scouting into the next spots, you saw that 3 times and 2 times from some of these teams that are just stopping scouting, moving, and trying to get further and avoiding trying to crashing some of these spots here. But eventually, TSM had to do it, and they did it really well. Oh my God,
that was so close.
Close. Because we thought he was going to run him over. and apparently it was extremely close.
So there's two different
Oh my God.
different
mxey
types
got
of teams
bopped.
in the league here, I'd say. You have one team that's basically just mindlessly fighting other teams. And then you have the teams who's actually thinking, what's the next step? What's the next circle? We saw FaZe crashing GamerLegion on the southwest side in Circle 3, for example. That was a play because they thought the circle would go towards southwest. That's a tendency we've seen. And they weren't to be there before it happens. But it didn't go there, of course. You have other teams. What was it? Seven and who was fighting? CrowCrowd? They were fighting in the blue.
Oh, it's so
8
good.
kills total, guys. 15.
It's so good.
More than half of the team's kills. Good stuff.
Oh, look. Bit of anger there from DA, considering the situation that they were in.
Look at Michael, he's just face palming. That was just insane. He's like, you just
Well,
see.
DA also got the first knock on Iroh there as well.
Yeah. All right, and here we are, Desperados and GamerLegion, 0 points for them. As GT up toward the top there for the 3 points for one of our big 5, and also Na'Vi with 3 points as well. Want to look at our 1 through 8 though, very important, because up towards the top, TSM, Gustav, amazing stuff coming out there. That's 25 points, big go to them. And FaZe Clan only 5 points, so that is going to be evening things up even
They're going to
further.
take first from that.
Yeah.
As I said, they're just bouncing up and down, those two teams there.
Yeah, very cool to see. DA though, big points for them.
DA, massive points for them. They're probably going to come up in around to where GamerLegion and ENCE is as well. So if this is the start, if this is the kind of the push that they're trying to make to get out of the bottom 4, this is very respectable.
Look at Pittsburgh Knights, though, 7 points. They are the gatekeeper of the relegation teams right now, though.
That is the difference between 15 and 1 kills.
Wow.
10
10
damage. Jeez
That is
Louise.
actually insane. So there's no chance he's going to get 1,000 damage.
No, unless.
Well,
there's no
okay,
chance.
most of TSM's damage came from the end, though.
Yeah.
8 kills, though. Iroh, 5. 13 of the 15 kills. So the Milkman maybe only delivered 0 or 1 kill for this game.
He might have delivered 1 bottle of milk.
We'll see.
Some
Edelweiss,
smash
though,
milk,
with
that's
3
fine.
kills. Good to see him up there as well. They did fight a lot with CrowCrowd outside the blue, as you mentioned, for us. They had no cars. They're stuck in the northern side with our southern shift. So overall, yeah. Also, Sixmo, nice to see him up there. 3 kills. Really good game from DESPERADO. This is the tendencies I want to see from these guys.
Look, DA, they were playing more aggressive there towards the end, and it's nice to see not just going towards the middle, trying to find a good position. Actually playing it from the edge, sweeping around them, and making a surgeon in towards the circle.
And also, they were gatekeeping inside the city so well. They were moving around the different houses. They knew what houses and what angles to hold overall. So
Yeah, and they have Pittsburgh Knights in there as well.
the nades that they threw, you saw that double nade with them, nearly took out 3 of the guys from Knights, and they managed to gatekeep all of them. It was only Snark who survived that. So really well played from DESPERADO right there.
Guys, that was a good game. I feel like it was a very hectic start to the
Very
race.
good start, very good start.
Yeah, very good indeed. And I'm gonna throw something out here for a moment, right? And it's something I've been thinking the last couple of phases, but it feels to me like I'm enjoying the Miramar games a lot more than my recent Erangel games. It's kind of, I don't know how we've got to this point, because Erangel for me used to be the daddy of the battlegrounds.
Right.
That's how it was going. But a lot of these Miramar games that we're seeing, people are kind of mixing in aggression pretty early on. It's going throughout a lot of the earlier circles as well, here and there and everywhere on rotations. I'm really enjoying these games.
I think it
a
comes
lot.
down to we're seeing a lot more battles straight up from the start. Instead of usually in earlier days, we saw a lot of battles happening in kind of like Circle 6.
Right.
People waited out until they actually had to take a fight for something. And then everything happened at the same time. Now we get a little bit of this, a little
Really
bit of
good.
that throughout the whole game.
Fortunately, Gustav, not 1,000 damage. 721.
Damn,
Yeah.
close. I'll get there eventually. All
Good
right.
game, though, from TSM. This is good stuff, and they will take first place with this.
Awesome stuff. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Time to go to a break in a few moments' time. But before we do that, you can use the hashtag AskPEL to ask us your burning questions, probably for the next week, that we shall end up answering then. For now, we're going to go to that short break, ladies and gentlemen. And when we return, we have more Miramar on its way for you. It's going to be game number 72.